Relationships and that broken promise. Let's talk about it. Roll it. Welcome back to another video. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is mentorsapproach.com. Hit that like button if you like what you see. Of course, hit the subscribe button to get that daily motivational idea to get you moving in the right direction. Relationships and broken promises, they go hand in hand. People always break promises. It's very simple, and it doesn't matter if it's an intimate relationship or any other kind of relationship, they all fit the same. Promises are made, expectations grow, and then as those expectations grow and promises are being made, eventually you break one or two and trust starts to break. It all starts falling apart, especially if that progress continues in a negative form and all of a sudden the relationship is tarnished. But sometimes people just get up and leave and you're left there going, what just happened? Hi Nikos, my ex promised me the world. We were in love and things were going great. Is that your perception? Or is that what it was? We got engaged and planning the wedding. It kind of sounds like both. She ended up cheating on me and going back to her ex. So she cheated on you with her ex and then decided to go back to him, or was it somebody else? I am just devastated. Anybody would. Why does this happen? How do you know if people are true to you? And this is the level of trust that we've been talking about in these videos. It's incredibly hard to really judge and understand somebody's character and then trust that which you have just judged and understood. Or you should be understand and judge. Maybe reverse that. Let's look at this from a perspective of how we build that relationship. You had this person in your life, you started working in a great pace to grow the relationship, everything was going smooth, you're about to get married, and then all of a sudden a fundamental switch occurred somewhere in the relationship. Something happened. Now the real question is, what was that? What actually occurred and when did it happen? And you need to really look at the story, the narrative that has occurred through time. And sometimes we look at people and we assume that, hey, we're in love, they don't care about the past, everything is going smooth, but sometimes they're still living in that past. They miss that person, and they just got into a relationship with somebody else because they felt they needed that. And a lot of the times it's because we really haven't looked deep down further in how happy this person is with themselves. Because somebody who really loves themselves, really respects themselves, they go through this process of respecting and loving other people. It's a two-way street, and they're looking for something similar where they can find somebody who respects and loves themselves, and then they can do the match to walk down that street the same way, the road of happiness. And sometimes you don't know what's occurring, and this could be one aspect of your situation. The other aspect is that you believed you were going in a series of events that were good, everything was going smoothly, you're talking about marriage, you bought her a ring, but then all of a sudden there are things that were occurring that you thought were still positive, but in her mind they weren't. You guys weren't communicating, or you had stopped communicating at some point leading up to that wedding, and the ex just kind of came back in. And in that swoop and in that movement, she cheated on you and off she went with the ex, leaving you stranded behind. And yeah, you would be devastated. Anybody would. I mean, I've been there. It hurts. It really, really hurts. And I mean, all breakups hurt, but sometimes some are more stingers than others. The idea from this to take is that we want to analyze what occurred in that relationship, what happened through the story, write all those things down, and really open your eyes to not your perception, your narrative, but what actually occurred. And that's really being able to step back from it all with no emotions and say to yourself, what happened during these moments? Was the level of happiness the same? Was the level of treatment the same? Were they any moments where reciprocation of what was occurring changing. Usually one big thing that we'll see is that, when you guys start fighting and it's the beginning of a relationship, that fight is lovey-dovey and you're back in bed and everything's fine at the end of the night. But then as the relationship continues and the respect lowers, as the attraction level lowers, well, then that fight turns into, I'm not going to stay at your place, or I'm not going to sleep in the same bed, go sleep on the couch. And then eventually those fights progress where the time to really fix things takes longer and longer. Did that start to occur? Were there any signs where you could say, yeah, the attraction level started dropping, the respect value started dropping, the love started dropping? Because at the end of the day, promises are made when we start dating people, and especially when we start moving into that exclusivity moment where we're saying, yes, we're going to be boyfriend, girlfriend, we're one for each other, and we're partners, we're going to be together, and exclusivity starts. A promise is made there. It's like a handshake that's made between two business partners or colleagues. We're making a pact right now. The level of expectation is up here, and with that level of expectation, well, that's based on a respect value. The respect value has been created based on the attraction level, and it's been created based on the number of promises that were made. These promises built expectations, and there we have it. Now we have this awesome opportunity to have a great relationship. However, a fundamental thing occurs where as time goes by, after 90 days, 120 days, then we jump into the bigger categories, 6 months, 8 months, a year. Well, people start to get comfortable. They start to let go of the things they were doing to make sure that the relationship was functioning at a high level. Reciprocation occurs where somebody reciprocates on that level. So instead of being, ready, able, and going on time, they start being more late, and then the other person starts being more late, and then all of a sudden it turns into this almost like a competition, really, of being lazy to get ready on time, and it becomes a norm. Yet it's still something that upsets us and bothers us, but we just put it aside. What it's actually doing is bringing the attraction level for the other person down, because the person is changing, and that attraction level, what really made a difference, has changed. And we see this in every relationship. I go through even friends. It doesn't matter if it's intimate or not. It's friendships, business colleagues, anything in your career where you're moving. That level of attraction is based on the things we're doing, the promises we're making, and how we're keeping them. And that trust level increases, the relationship grows. So we look at it, and as that drops, well, things start to change. And at some point, what we see is this switch occur where somebody's like, is this really what I need in my life? What I've really come to understand is that if we are not paying attention to what we're doing and we do get comfortable, the chances that our relationship will fall apart is highly likely. If we maintain a level of being observant and holding ourselves accountable to maintaining what we started, the relationship is highly probable that it will succeed. So really understand that the trust, you're asking, why does this happen? Where's the trust going? And the reality is, this person would not have left you if you were able to be that person, that go-to person she started falling for. She must have had some level of love for you in order to want to get married with you. It wouldn't have been just because, sometimes it is, but most cases it's not, and it's a big commitment. So what actually ended up occurring where that love started to leave? And at the same time, we got to understand that, women, when we look at, and especially when you're in a relationship like yours, women will give you the opportunity to fix on those promises you've made, to start working on your word, to start increasing your respect value. They're not going to tell you, though. They're just going to hint at it. And every time you disappoint them, well, the trust level goes down because the expectation is now being lowered. And then as that happens, the respect value drops. And as that happens, the love level drops. And that's the process until one day they're like, you know what? I don't want this, I'm gonna move on, and you're left there devastated. Well, they're like able to bounce back a lot sooner. They're going through that breakup emotions as time goes by, and this is a lot of the times why a lot of men will ask me, well, why were they able to just go jump in another relationship? Why are they back on Tinder right away? And the simple truth is because they were experiencing those emotions of breakup, and then they'll take like some time, 2-3 weeks, when they go through the ending, and they'll go back out and they'll be back in that dating world where the guy will take 4-6 months to refix himself, go back to the gym because it got comfortable, refix themselves up, get back in a mental state that's healthy, start being that fun-loving guy again. And it takes a lot longer. And I think any motivational coach that you'll talk to, or any relationship coach, or any clinical side, will tell you the same story, because this is a pattern that we'll see no matter what. This is the truth of the matter. So really take your time on this and observe this and look at this. Write it all down. Understand your shortcomings. Understand, where were you tripping up when you were making decisions? When was the integrity not there? When were you dropping and lacking on that? When were you saying no and then breaking your word on it? When were you saying yes and breaking your word on it? And then start focusing on what are the things you need to implement on the next relationship. Don't go back to this relationship ever again from a perspective of, hey, I want to try and get her back. It won't work out unless she wants to come back, and this is the idea behind it. And the question is, do you really want to go back to that? And I know a lot of times when guys message me like this, they're asking, how do I get her back? Well, she went back to her ex. So I mean, don't go back to it unless the opportunity presents itself. You don't have to blacklist her. You don't have to go all no contact and this and that. You just have to stick to integrity and say, you know what? No, you're not a priority anymore, and that's it. If you really, really, love her and you want her back, don't go back to her until she comes back. You don't want to play that needy behavior card. You want to be that man of integrity, and if anything, that's how she will go back. That being said, there's so many people out there. Do not feel devastated from the fact that this occurred to you. Look at it as a learning moment. I'm not going to repeat this, and I'm going to start focusing on that next relationship. What are the things I'm going to be doing so I can maintain a happy and healthy relationship and not go back this loop again? My name is Nikos Rentas. This is mentorsapproach.com. Hit that like button, and of course subscribe to get your daily motivational idea to get you moving in the right direction. Share it with anybody who you think would find value, and of course leave your story, because who knows, somebody might be reading it and you might help change a life.